Thank you for the introduction, Jerry. Okay, we'll start the presentation. So that's our core racks at Apollo Hill with the sun rising in the background, and hopefully lots more core to drill this year. Apollo Hill and Saturn metals in a snapshot. Really good location, 60k south of Leonora, in the heart of the Walloon Norseman Greenstone Belt. And sitting on, I suppose, the important part in that diagram is the Keith Kilkenny Shear, which is arguably, one of the most sort of productive shear fault zones in terms of operations, such as Carasue Dam or King of the Hills or Gwalia itself. 100% owned by Saturn Metals. A very healthy resource and growing resource at the heart of our land package, and an underexplored or completely unexplored land package around it, 1,000 square k's, and some beautiful met test work on the main deposit, which I'll allude to later. I guess that's a bit of a snapshot on what we've done since listing in March last year. We did 10,000 metres of drilling, which doesn't sound a lot, but we managed to add another 185,000 ounces. So a pretty good discovery cost, very importantly about $6.90 an ounce, which puts us up there in terms of our efficiency. And I definitely see that picture continuing. We 36% increase to the ounces of the deposit, and that was done more through the quality and rather than a pure increase in tonnes. So grade up about 14%, which starts to make us comparable to some of our peers. We did a huge geophysics program, and I talked about the ground being underexplored. Just to put that in context, we've got 1,000 square K. We had to do 750 square K of first pass geophysics. And, that's something that I remember being done in the Yandal Belt probably 20, 25 years ago. So some huge opportunity there, and the potential to unlock the geology and the potential of this very important greenstone belt. Aircore drilling's underway on those regional targets, and some fantastic drill results last year, which I'm going to allude to in the next slides. And most importantly, at the southern end and the northern end of the deposit, which leaves it wide open for expansion and growth and improvement. Purpose of that slide really is, I suppose, I see that as a very strong and well-supported register. A lot of those shares are in escrow. We did see a really positive reaction last year to our exploration and our results flow. And I suppose in terms of cash, just to sum that up, we're very well funded for a very aggressive year in front of us. We floated with 7 million on the IPO. We've got half of that left after cost of IPO. So a good place to be as we sort of launch into 2019. And I guess a little note on the enterprise value. If you work the figures out, EV per resource ounce, I think that makes us a fantastic buy at this point, and I'll try and show you some of the details around that. Myself, geologist, as Jerry introduced, with a background in gold from Newmont. It's a pleasure to be working with Rob Tyson, the chairman of Saturn Metals, and Peel Mining's managing director, with an exemplary discovery record in the last 2 years with Southern Nights, Waggatang, Mallee Bull, and who knows what he's going to do next. Andrew Venn from Chief Operating Officer at DDH1 brings a bit of sort of drilling expertise and an ex-stockbroker to the board. And Ryan, who's been instrumental in the growth of Peel, is our co-sec and CFO. So nice board. Apollo Hill itself, that's a bit of a snapshot on what it looks like, and a couple of points there that I really like to spell out to people is that the ore body itself is 40 to 70 metres wide, which gives us some nice advantages in potential strip ratio as we move towards development of this project. 1.2 kilometres long, and as I mentioned, the reason the sort of thing stops there at the end is not because it stops, it's because there's no drilling. And I guess the other thing is that the drilling has all been done above 180 metres below surface, and we'll continue to focus our efforts there. So we're not going down, we're going out and along, and I think that really lends itself to some nice open pit mining. Importantly, we converted a portion of that, about 22% of the previous resource to indicated, and when we do that, because of the nuggety nature of this ore body, we start to see the grade improving, and as we infill drilling, we're starting to see a number of higher grade shoots which are having a leverage effect on those very big tonnages. And I expect with ongoing drilling we'll see that pattern continue from indicated to measured, and even within the inferred zone again up to indicated. And it's really the two things, the nuggety nature of the drill density and probability, and then two, those high-grade shoots and the leverage it has. I alluded earlier to the two best sections at either end, which has sort of set us up nicely for this year. In the north, it was great to see, I suppose, in what's traditionally been a big low-grade system, we've been searching for higher-grade lodes and a way to sort of, we don't just want to grow this, we want to improve this gold system. And it was nice to see a beautiful section like that come together on a very focused, Archean low gold shear, a 10-metre core at 3 grams, and I think even the halo there averages about 1.78. So you put that together, and we're chasing that north as we speak. Next one. In the south, a bit of a sort of antithesis to that grade, but some beautiful width there in the intersections. And I did the exercise of looking back at Gold Road's Gruyere discovery intersections in around 2015, and it was a pleasure to see that that intersection there, that 58 at 1.06 is, at least of equal sort of stature to those operations, and again open for 600 to 900 metres to the south. So drilling in progress. A snapshot of what that drilling looks like. We started about 10 days ago, and we've pretty much followed the drilling north in these sort of 60 to 100 metre, 120 metre section step outs. And then I suppose, the good thing about that is we had reason to follow it north, so we were seeing the right geology, the veining, the right alteration patterns and the right rock units that we like to see. We've moved to the south, and we're currently focusing in that area in the next 1.5 weeks, so I expect to see results flow in kind of 2 weeks' time from that initial assaying. But the kind of key point of that slide is we've got 685,000 ounces there. I'm trying to create a picture as quickly as possible of that 1 million ounce step for the deposit. It won't be a 1 million ounce in resource yet. We've got to go back and infill it, but I hope to show the mineralisation continuity. And again, I talked about a very low discovery cost and pretty rapid turnaround in terms of 10,000 metres to add that previous 185,000 ounces. Touching on the actual deposit and the metallurgy, I think this is critical to this deposit. We see the likes of Regis Resources who make a fantastic living and business out of lower grade but lower strip and excellent metallurgical deposits. Apollo Hill, some pretty extensive test work on some very big composites, has shown that 60% of the gold is gravity recoverable, and that certainly sits within the sort of upper quartile of recoverable gravity figures. At a very coarse commercial, perhaps the coarsest commercial grind size of 300 microns, we see 92% recovery, and certainly at the finer grind sizes we saw that improve to the sort of traditional 97, 98, but very easily. And lots of sort of free milling visible gold in it. Column leach, we've been looking at the leaching opportunity given this is a lower grade deposit. And I mean, the thing that stands out for me are those figures that sort of 60s and 70%. I normally expect to see 50s and 60s, so there's a bit of an advantage there. And again, at pretty reasonable crush sizes, but importantly, and what's not on that slide, the residence time in the column tests was as little as sort of 3 weeks to get 60% of the gold out. So that gives us some different processing opportunities, lower cost processing opportunities. The other thing we did last year was, I've got a rare earth background, and speaking to a colleague in here last year, he sort of pointed out that I'd have thought about beneficiation of the ore, and we did an X-ray scan of a big section of core, not just one little sample as you see there. And we found in every instance that the gold was clearly in the white quartz veins. And we've got lovely, fresh, dark green, grey rock and white quartz veins, and that's going to, I think, give us the potential to really investigate and develop the ore sorting route. So a smaller tonnage going through any eventual production facility at a higher grade would be an absolute dream for this deposit. And finally, when we were investigating we got this ore scan. I'll see if I can start the thing spinning for you. You see the little gold grains in there. There's the yellow dots. I think I've just switched it off. There we go. Littered through that quartz vein. We were seeing enough visible gold in the core, but not particularly getting assays back, and we suspected we had a sampling problem. So we took bigger samples and bottle rolled leached them, and we saw over those full intersections a sort of 33% upgrade. I suppose what I'm saying is I think this has some inherent metallurgical advantages that, put together with that lower strip and the growing size, gives this deposit some real legs. Last year, I alluded to that sort of massive aeromag and ground gravity program we did, and the team have been busy working away in the background and come up with those 7 targets. And I'll make the point, I suppose, that we're air core drilling them now. We're 4,000 metres through a 5,000 metre program, and each one of those is done on the geology and the exploration. And what we're trying to do there is show that somewhere in that land package, I believe there's the potential for another multi-million ounce deposit. And our exploration is very much focused, or this part of the exploration is focused towards finding that real game changer. And we're not following up on old intersections or sniffing around. These are big targets. I'll show you a couple now. This one came out of the old data, so down in the bottom corner of the tenement package there, it was lovely to see some very high, very nuggety, spotty geochem samples in the soils, as high as 937 ppb, which is just sort of under a gram. And very competitive land position. Sumitomo, the big Japanese trading house, borders us around here and has certainly been very active in the last couple of years. But also importantly, in the geophysics, the overlap of the ground gravity and the magnetics, we started to pick up these beautiful sort of syenite targets. And in this particular region, syenites and very much associated with new discoveries. I think Dacian to the north is probably one of the best examples. And I guess results pending. We've certainly seen the syenite geology in the drilling. Moving further north, I've thrown this picture up to sort of show Apollo Hill, but next to it, that new geophysics was really started unlocking what I see as not just Apollo Hill, but a mine camp. I mean, I look at it at one level. I'm used to visiting a mine and seeing one pit, and then another pit, and another pit, and another pit, and they're all on different and parallel and interlocking structures. And if you want, that's my vision of the Apollo Hill mine camp for the future. So I very much see this as not just that next step to 1 million ounces. I see this as a multi-million ounce opportunity with the right work. And again, drilling in progress, and watch this space. Point of that slide, I suppose, is to say in the next 6 to 9 months, I intend to undertake, or we're already undertaking, a very aggressive drill program, and very well planned out, so there's regular results flow and information passing to the market across the different shoots. It's a metallurgical development which I think will start to give some real confidence in this deposit. And I did promise that I'm a member of the gold industry group. So before I finish, I'm going to give the gold industry group a real plug. Absolute advocates for gold and the gold industry in Western Australia. I've got Rebecca Johnson's face up there. You'll see her sitting in the audience down here. So any budding and aspiring gold explorers, developers, producers, I'd certainly encourage you to get behind the industry and what it's doing. There's some of the benefits there and some of the events that have been run. But certainly it's about raising awareness in the general public of the importance of this industry to our, to West Australia and the eastern states and Australia as a whole, and making mining more friendly for everyone. The standard disclaimer, do your own independent facts, and I am a competent person under JORC. And thank you very much for the time. The bell's gone.